Hello students, welcome to the second lesson on basics of Python programming. In the first lesson we have seen some fundamentals of Python. Hope you are all enjoying this lesson. In the first lesson we have seen how to declare a string and other data types. In this lesson we will be seeing some more about strings. Let us start coding. First thing is about printing in a new line. I give a /n so that the part this indicates Python interpreter that the rest of the string should be printed in a new line. For that, let me declare a variable called as output, and I give it as welcome to basics of Python programming. In this, when I print output, I get it that welcome to basics of Python programming printed in a single line. Now say I want this to happen like this, that welcome and basics of Python programming to be printed in the next line. So I get welcome here, basics of Python programming in the next line. Okay. So this is how we print in the next line. Let us see with variables like what we have done in the first lesson. Let me declare a variable called as name, and I give a value of Sumitra Toit. Whenever we declare variables, it is always advisable to give spaces, and as I told you, indentation is extremely important in Python programming. So if you give a space, you get an error. Say I get an indentation error, unexpected indent, but when I run without a space, I get this to be done correctly. Okay, so name one variable, another variable called as roll number, and I give it as, say for example, ATP016. Now let me print this name and then roll number. So I get name printed in the first line, Sumitra here, and ATP 016. Now say I wanted this to be in capital. Say name is Sumitra and S is small. I wanted to capitalize it. I use capitalize method in string class. Okay, and what are classes and what are methods we will be seeing in the coming videos in detail. So let us call this as so name dot capitalize. When I give name dot capitalize, I would get this S printed in capital letters. Okay, next I just wanted another one. Say let us call it as intro, and I give it as another string called as learning by examples. Okay, and now when I print intro, I get it like this. Okay, learning by examples. In this, suppose I wanted to capitalize the first letters of each word, I use what is called as title method. Intro is equal to intro dot title title. In capitalize only the first letter. Say suppose say Sumitra S is there. When I run this, I get learning by examples, and here when I use capitalize, I get only the first letter to be capital. And here, if in case I use title here, I get the initials or this thing S to be in capital. So we have seen two methods. One is called as title and the other one is called as capitalize. Now suppose I wanted to print all these things in upper case. I give name dot upper. Upper is another class where it is being printed in capital letters. See, you get this Sumitra S completely written in capital letters. Okay, so now say I wanted this things to be written in small letters. I can give name dot small. Okay, name, again I'll paste it, name dot lower, L-O-W-E-R, lower. I get it printed in lower case. The whole things is converted into a lower case. Okay, but this is how we print strings with different methods. Okay. Similarly, we have another one method to check whether the name is in upper or not. So let us declare a boolean variable. A boolean variable is something that has only two values, either true or false. So let me declare another variable, say for example my case or something like that is equal to name dot is lower, and when I print this, not necessary to print since it is this thing, since it is collapse, but as we go on we'll be writing more number of statements, so it is better that we print it. So my case is false. Similarly, I can check if it is upper, is upper, and we get it as true, false and true. Okay. Next we will be seeing two methods. One is called as strip and other one is called as split. Okay. So in this Sumitra variable, suppose we have some extra spaces and I am printing the length of name, which includes, it says 11, it includes all the spaces, the side space, the side space, so on. I wanted to remove the unwanted spaces. What I would do is name is equal to name dot strip. Now when I print the length of the name, length of name variable, I'll get it as 9. I wanted this to look somewhat better. Okay, so I wanted some lines or some characters in the beginning and in the bottom, like what we have done in the previous lesson. We have learned how to calculate the electricity bill. Suppose you want to give this electricity bill to a consumer, you wanted some headings or something that looks that makes it better. Okay, so let me say how to print a set of strings n number of times. See, I'll give it like this. I give a print and I give a hyphen to indicate to the interpreter to print a single hyphen. When I run this, I get one hyphen here. Now I want this hyphen to repeat n number of times. What I do, into say 10, I get printed 10 times. I wanted to give it in such a way that it is given in terms of length of output. So how much times or how much characters are there in output, so much times it is printed. So you get it like this. The same thing can be copied in the end also, so that not necessary to give hyphen alone, you can give any characters or any numbers or any values. Say we can give it as hash, we can give it as a star here, or we can give it as a, b, c, or any strings, any string as such. Okay, print my course is, and then give it like this, so you have so much times it is repeated. My course is, my course is, my course is, so anything like that. This is how we multiply a string and print it n number of times. Okay, now we'll see, we have seen some basic methods, we have so many other methods and so on. Now we'll see how to format this string. So now let us now say I wanted welcome Sumitra, your roll number is ATP6 to be printed here. I need variables to be used in this place. Welcome, here I need the name and I need it to be printed like that. Okay, so here what I'll do is I'll use string formatting methods. Okay, now I'll give it as like this, say %s to format this string, and now here, after I've declared this name variable and after I've capitalized this, I'm giving print output and %s, so that this, not percentages, percentage name so that this name is accepted as this string, and this tells the interpreter that there is a variable coming up here and that variable is, what is this? Now when I run this, I get welcome Sumitra, yes. You can note that the capitalize is not effective here, does not get capitalized. Okay, now say I wanted another one, say I wanted two variables to be printed. First we'll see how to concatenate strings also, along with this how to add two strings. Okay, now welcome underscore s, let us call it as welcome string, is equal to output plus, okay, I wanted your roll number is. Your roll number is. And another one percentage s, so that we have 2 percentage s. If you want to print this, you will be having 2 percentage s. So print welcome underscore s. Now I wanted to give 2 variables. Okay, first one here for name, and second one here for roll number. So let us first print it without this. Okay, percentage name. Now when I run this, I get welcome Sumitra, basics of Python programming, and your roll number is. Let me make it look somewhat better by printing it in the next line. So there need not be any spaces. So welcome Sumitra, basics of Python programming, your roll number is. I have not told what the roll number is, so I'll give another string. Now here I have to tell the print statement that you have another variable coming up. What is that? That is roll underscore number. So this is given inside a tuple. What is a tuple? We'll see as we go on in detail. Okay, so name comma roll number. When I run this, I get welcome Sumitra, basics of Python programming. Here the first percentage s is replaced by name. Okay, I don't give this now. I just don't give this. What happens? Percentages comes as it is. So here the first percentage s is there. Here here the second percentage s is there. Here the first percentage s is here. Now when I do that, when I paste it and when I run, I get welcome Sumitra, and your roll number is this one. Okay, so we have seen how to concatenate strings. We have added 2 strings, one by name output and other one is this one. These 2 strings we have added, we have printed it using percentage s, and we have seen some basics of basic methods, commonly used methods in string class. Now let us say I want to print her marks also. Let us say I wanted to print her marks. Marks is equal to, say last time we have done, let us give it a 65 out of 70, and we'll calculate the percentage as we have done, is equal to marks by total underscore marks, that is into 100. Print percentage of marks comma percentage, and when I run this, I get percentage of marks as 92.857142 and so on, a big number. Okay, this is a float value. Suppose I wanted this percentage to be rounded off to 2 decimal digits. I can use another formatting technique, percentage 0.2 f, where f stands for float. Okay, so it indicates the interpreter that it should be maximum of rounded off to rounded off to 2 decimal points. Let me copy this and so that we'll see the difference. 0.2 F and percentage. When I run this, okay, when I run this, I get percentage of marks 92.856 something and so on, 857142. And when I round it off, when I give this point to F, what happens is it is getting rounded off to 92.86. Now in the end, I wanted to give a percentage symbol. I can use end attribute also. End is equal to percentage, and all what I print in the next line will come in the end. In the it will not be printed in the new line. It will get continued. So when we run this, you get that this length of output coming up along with this. So I want this to be in the next line. I give a /n, and now when I run this, I get it in the next line, and I get percentage printed here. Now let us say I wanted to eliminate all the decimal values. I wanted a whole number. Okay, so what I will do is I'll use point2d. Okay, instead of F, I'm using it as decimal values or decimal point2d. When I run this, you can see that this is completely eliminated and 92 is there. It is not rounding off. Okay, percentage of marks rounded off to 2 digits. Percentage of marks in whole numbers, something like that. Okay, so along with this, let us say, we have a variable called as name, and her website URL we wanted to print. Okay, we want to print a website URL. So how we can do, or we can use the separate attribute, we'll see. Now say, let us declare another variable, say URL is equal to www, okay, or www dot something dot name and then .com. Okay, extension URL underscore extn. Say this is another one. I give it as .com. Okay, now I wanted to, okay, I'll give it as com. Now print my URL is, okay, URL plus name plus URL underscore extn. So I get www.sumitras.com. Okay, now I wanted these things to be separated by a dot. What I'm doing is that I'm giving comma end is equal to an empty space so that it is printed in the same line, and then I am printing URL comma name comma URL comma name comma URL underscore extn. See, this can be given directly also inside the print statement. You can just give it here also, but I have declared extra variables for a cleaner understanding, because in practical applications we may commonly be using variables. In that, I'll give what is called as sep. Sep is equal to dot. When I give this sep is equal to dot, what happens is I get www.sumitras.com, but still, you have a space here. Say I wanted to remove this space. What I can do here is, okay, now I have taught you strip method. Now I'll be teaching you what is split. Okay, name is equal to name dot split and print name. So this statement can be temporarily commented. Okay, now when I do like this, what happens is that the string variable name is split into two elements. One will be this Sumitra, second will be that S. Okay, now when I run this, I get a list printed which has Sumitra and yes here. Okay, so let me do one thing. Let me make this lower. Name is equal to name dot lower. Okay, since it is not my URL, okay, here let me give /n for the time being. Okay, so we got a list with Sumitra and S2 variables. Now I wanted this to be printed like Sumitra S.com. So what I'll do is that I'll have another name is again now name, we'll give it as name underscore list, because the string is converted into a list data type when we use this split, and we can use this split with different characters also. By default it is blank space. Okay, so now let me call this name is equal to name underscore list of 0, and I'm concatenating it with 1. Okay, control C, I'll give it as 1. So I got it as name as a single string. Now when I print name, I'll get it as Sumitra S without any spaces. And so here now I can simply give like this, comma, end is equal to n. When I run like this, I get my URL is www.sumitrais.com. Okay. Now this name variable has, now let us declare another variable. Now suppose I wanted to split it. Okay, so let us say my URL is equal to URL plus name plus URL underscore extn, and now I am printing my URL. When I run this, what I get www.sumitras.com. Okay, now I want this, I have to use dot plus dot. Okay, so when I run this like this, I got my URL as www.sumitrais.com. Now I want to separate this, split this using this split method in string. Okay, so my URL score list is equal to my URL dot split, and I'll give this dot. And now when I print my URL underscore list, I'll get it as a list of www.sumitrais and com. This is how we split a string with different characters. By default, the split takes, if you don't give any arguments, the split method gives you an list separated on the basis of empty spaces. So these are some of the important commonly used methods in string. We have so many other methods also. We will be coming up with that in the coming up lessons based upon our applications and exercises. Exercises are extremely important for our learning. Okay, so I think with this we can conclude our lesson 2 on basics of strings. It's completely the fundamentals of strings. Okay, now I'll give you an exercise. You can copy this, I'll give you a small exercise. Get an input string from a console, save it as password, and then check the following points. Number 1, first point, that the length of the password is of minimum 8 characters. The second point, the password should have at least one numeral. Third point is the password should have at least one uppercase character. Fourth point is that password should have at least one lowercase character. And fifth point is that the password should have at least one symbol or character. The output should be true if all these conditions are satisfied, and the output should be false if any of these conditions are not satisfied. And it should also mention which conditions are not satisfied. If there are more than one condition, all the conditions should be printed as output. This is the second lesson exercise. At the end of this, no, I'll be posting you the solution for this exercise as a video in the next video. In that, I'll be giving you another one more exercise. Exercises will be different from sessions. Okay, so I believe that this is quite possible for you with what you have learned so far. You can comment and give reply if you find it difficult. And the next exercise, that is lesson 2 exercise 1, will be having another exercise also. Exercise 2 will also be there for lesson 2, and more we learn by doing it. Okay, so I think minimum spelling is wrong. This is the exercise. So thank you very much for watching, and I believe we are growing on every lesson, and after this we will be seeing the next lesson more about different other variables and data types with examples. Thank you for listening to this video, and I hope you are enjoying learning Python programming. Thank you very much.